850-5404. So let's call in. I want to talk about some real deep stuff today. Let me put on my Mac and music if you don't mind. Let me put on my Mac and music if you don't mind. That's that Stolly featuring Scarface right there swinging. Let me put on my Mac and music, ladies and gentlemen. I want to get deep today. I want to talk about new age buck dancing in the media. There's a lot of new age buck dancing going on, and I want people to chime in. Let me see who's on the phone right now. What's up? Who's calling? What's up, player?
Yeah, what's up, player? This Jimmy Cox from South Spring.
There you
South
go.
Spring, Maryland.
There you go, brother. What's on your mind?
Man, I was looking at the message. I had to speak up for my man Stephen A. Smith. Man, he got to do what he got to do sometimes, you know. But today he really spoke out against Cooper. I know sometimes he does a little dancing, but he corrected sometimes.
Right. I feel that. All right. Thanks for the call. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, what's going on with the whole topic. Like I said, we're going to talk about what some consider new age buck dancing with a lot of black public entertainers and public figures. Before I get into that, I almost forgot, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be doing a lecture down at Tennessee State University in Nashville. My first time doing a lecture in Nashville. That's going to be on September 21st. I will have this information on where you can get the tickets and all that good stuff. Some promoters are bringing me down, and the school is bringing me down. So shout out to Tennessee State University in Nashville. That's going to be September 21st, 2013, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. But what we're talking about today, a lot of, as you know, and I touched on this on Ustream last Sunday, you know, a lot of people, non-black people, have been coming out having racial Tourette's using the N-word, nigga. And it's very interesting that whenever white people or people who are non-black use the word nigga publicly, especially celebrities or public figures, black folks kind of get thrown under the bus with them. Not only they get reprimanded to a certain degree, but now we got this whole thing where black folks are being thrown under the bus. And I've talked about this at length several times. And now we have so many black entertainers coming out defending people who are non-black using the N-word. And it's almost like a lot of these black entertainers are reading from the same script. So do you think that these people are out here doing modern day buck dancing? Are they cooning? Are they tomming? Are they shucking and jiving? A lot of people think they are. And I want to play both sides of this thing right here because I get it to a certain degree, but then I don't get it to a certain degree. What's up? Who's calling?
Tariq, what's going on, man? This Sugar Free, dog.
What's up, Sugar Free? How you doing, player?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. I need your help, Tariq, dog.
Go ahead. What's the problem?
Listen, man, I got a job offer in Vernon, California, man. I want to come out there and chase my dreams. The job that I'm getting is paying $16 an hour plus overtime. And I want to know, I know you've been in LA for a long time, like, what's the safest city I can live in and still commute to Vernon and not get killed by a gangbanger or some La Familia. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about LA, man. I don't want to come out there and get fucked off.
Yeah, LA is cool, man. LA is cool in the game, man. We kind of get a bad rap. There's certain areas, you know, you want to play it safe in, but for the most part, LA is cool in the game. Now, you're going to be on Vernon and what street?
I don't know exactly where the plant is located. I'm still in Albuquerque right now. I'm gonna be transferring to the plant is in Vernon, California. I see it's like south of LA. I see it's close to Slauson Avenue, and it's close to Huntington Park. And I know about Slauson Avenue. I heard about Slauson, like they're supposed to be like real rough.
Right.
And I'm just trying to see, like, what about Huntington Park? Have you ever heard of Huntington Park?
Yeah. There's a lot of Mexican cats out there in Huntington Park. So that's kind of right outside downtown. So you sound like, I'm trying to think of the area you're in, because I never heard of the city of Vernon. I know the street of Vernon. So I got to get a little more information. But I would say to you, if you're going to be in that area, about like the 5 freeway somewhere, go to get a spot in Burbank or Glendale or someplace probably in the valley, and you'll be good, you know, because the commute is going to be long anyway in LA, man. The traffic is fucked up in every direction. But anyway, email me, man. We'll chop up game about that on the email. Thanks for the call, player.
Thanks a lot, man.
Okay. I'm giving motherfuckers real estate advice right now. What's going on? Who's calling?
Hey, Tariq, it's Geechee Dan.
What's up, Geechee Dan? How you doing, player?
Good, man, good. I'm calling in. I got your Twitter prompt
Yes.
about the cooning that's going on. And, I mean, I just been bombarded with that lately, and I totally agree that these people are cooning, but they know they're cooning, but they're doing it as a survival mechanism,
Right.
and they're just looking out for themselves. It's like,
Absolutely.
I'm tired of white supremacy beating up on my ass. I'm just going to join in
Absolutely.
and get a little bit of accolades, get a little bit of money, and turn their back on the black community.
Absolutely.
And that's how they're doing it. And another thing that goes to is, I just saw a clip from that damn movie, The Butler,
Oh man.
and
Yeah.
they have Forrest Whitaker saying, like, yes, boss, is this all, boss? Or yes, sir. And it's like, they still got to show that negative stereotypical black male role, in comparison with, at the clip I saw was with the John F. Kennedy portrayal.
Yeah.
And John F. Kennedy is looking very dignified and saying, you people, I never realized how, you're being hurt and being treated. It's just showing that, okay, if you just keep cooning, keep going down, we'll come around sometime. And
Right,
I just
right.
don't agree
I
with that.
don't agree with that either, man. Thank you for the call, man. That's a real good assessment, man. And that's absolutely true. I was at the movies the other day with the family, and we kept seeing these different movie clips, and all of these, there's a movie about Mandela, where South Africans getting their asses kicked. So we got all these black folks get their asses kicked with dignity movies. Just back to back. The Butler, all of these movies where black folks getting their asses whooped, but you got dignity. And this is why we got Hidden Colors 3 in the works, man. We're getting that in the works right now, because we need to tell our story from our perspective in our own words, and we need to keep on doing that. And the brother brought up the movie The Butler. Lee Daniel, the director of The Butler, he just recently did an interview. And the interview said, and I want you guys to Google this. And this is the quote he said. You got to Google it to believe it. And Lee Daniel's always kind of been, to me, his motives. Not to disparage the dude. I don't know the guy personally. But movies like Precious, that was some demonic, sick shit as far as I'm concerned. Very sick movie. He directed Precious. But he said something like, whites can love black people and still call us niggers. I want you to Google that. He said that recently in an interview. Google that. Whites can love us and still call us niggers. And he was talking about something in his movie about Lyndon B. Johnson saying the N-word but looking out for black people. He said something to that effect in the article. As if Lyndon B. Johnson really gave a fuck about black folks. Lyndon B. Johnson could have given two shits of a fuck about black people. He didn't care nothing about no black people. Lyndon B. Johnson was an adamant racist. They got secret tapes of him calling Dr. King a nigger preacher. This motherfucker used the N-word like commas. Every other word out of Lyndon B. Johnson's mouth was nigger. He was a true to the game, racist redneck southerner. The thing is, he helped pass those civil rights bills. He was forced to do that because the whole world was seeing what was going on with the civil rights movement. The whole world saw black folks getting beat up in the streets and dogs sicked on them and water hoses. So he had to put up a front. It wasn't like he did the shit passing the civil rights bill because he loved us. He had to do that from a political standpoint, because other countries was looking at the U.S. like, hey, man, what you doing with your people over there? Wait. Y'all supposed to be all about dignity and morality, and you sicking dogs on people, and y'all lynching people, y'all blowing up churches with kids? What the fuck is wrong with you? So then they had to save face, like, oh, yeah, no. We don't do that. Hey, look, come here, black folks. Look, we all got civil rights, see? Integration, no more racism. No. We're going to give money to blacks. Oh, no, we're not going to do that, because that will empower blacks. So let's do this. Let's give money to minorities. See that Jedi mind trick they pulled? We'll give money to quote-unquote minorities and then pretend that all the money is for black folks and all the benefit is for black folks. And who's a minority? Oh, the minority thing. Anybody can be a minority. They made white women minorities. Right before they signed the Civil Rights Act, that's when they made white women minorities. White women weren't considered minorities, and this is why white women get 78% of the affirmative action benefits while they pretend that it's black people. Y'all notice that? They always pretend that black people are getting all these affirmative action benefits, which is a rock of bullshit. Black people don't get no damn affirmative action. We're the last people to get something affirmative action. So we keep going for the Jedi mind tricks here. Let me get a couple of calls before I keep spitting up. What's up? Who's calling?
Hey, Tariq, what's up? This from the west side from Birmingham.
There you go. You down in Birmingham, down in Charles Barkley country. What's going on, player?
Hey man, I'm glad I made it through. I just wanted to ask you a simple random question though. Like, hypothetically, if you were, religious and not just spiritual, how would you go about texting a woman in church?
If you're religious but not spiritual, how can you? Okay, so you're just trying to. This is basically a campaigning question. You want to go to the church because you know there's a lot of women and you want to campaign. You campaign at them just like you campaign at the club. First of all, when you holler at women at church, don't believe the religious bullshit they're saying while they're in church. In church, everybody's on some, hey, brother, hey, sister, praise the Lord, brother. The God is good, ain't he? Everybody's on that shit on Sunday, and the minute they go home, they take off the church dress, put on the thong, and get to twerking. You dig? So just understand that dynamic. Just spit at them, exchange numbers, do the praise the Lord, do all that stuff in church, and then when you get out of church, go ahead and get busy the way you would at any other location. Just don't fall for the whole holier than thou thing. You dig?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Big up to you, sir.
Much respect. Yeah, everybody knows that. The whole church mentality is basically people get to so-called purge their sins on Sunday and get to sin for the rest of the week. You dig? Hope I'm not offending the church folks out here, but y'all know I'm telling the truth. I drove by a church and that shit looked like the goddamn All-Star Weekend one time. There's so many damn mini skirts and hoe heels and tattoos. I'm like, what the hell? The church has gotten real hoish lately. It's gotten even more hoish. What's going on? Who's calling?
Hey, what's going on, Tariq? It's Nasheed. What's up with you?
Hey man, what's going on with the pimp sauce?
No, man, I was on Instagram and I seen that you said chime in.
Yes,
I hit you like last summer because not last summer. Last Sunday about the cooning, like with the Larry Elder.
Oh yeah.
And it's but you know what? I'm hip to the game. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm out here on the East Coast. So Armstrong Williams and Larry Elder was on like a liberal station. And, I just kind of peeped their game. I had I called in a couple of times to have dialogue with Armstrong Williams. Armstrong Williams is an extreme as Larry Elder, but it's a con game. Like, these dudes are just making $1 out of throwing, throwing black people under the bus.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Absolutely. It's a hustle.
It's a hustle. But, I just really just want to know, and I know for a fact, excuse me, that a lot of times they don't believe half the bullshit they say.
They don't believe none of them. They don't believe none of that shit as far as I'm concerned.
They don't believe none of it. It is a hustle. You know what I mean? But I don't really think they realize how damaging it is.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? And I don't see any other race of people have coon like us, like ours.
Absolutely. There's no white version of people going around throwing whites under the bus to benefit blacks. Because basically it's a power thing, because all of the power is really in the dominant society in the white community. So there are no benefits for whites to co-sign blacks. So
exactly.
So I understand that hustle, man. Thanks for the call though, brother. But the brother makes a great point, man. A lot of these people like Armstrong Williams and Larry Elder, they've been cooning for years. Even Clarence Thomas, the reason why he was appointed Supreme Court judge, because he had that mentality. And you have to understand that the coon business is very profitable. Regurgitating a bunch of white rhetoric about black people, that's very profitable. With whites and blacks. That's the easiest way to make money in this country if you're an entertainer. When your career's over, if you notice a lot of cats when their careers are over, or they just didn't have a career popping, but a lot of times when people's careers are over, they get into the racial rhetoric business. It's like the Bill O'Reillys. He was a news commentator, a broadcaster, even Glenn Beck, he was a radio guy. But then when they started regurgitating all that racial rhetoric about black people, they found a niche audience, and it's a very huge audience, that Rush Limbaugh audience. Rush makes a grip, millions of dollars. And that's always been the case. You can make a grip pandering to white racial fears, throwing black people under the bus. Black and white people can do this. And the new hustle is to bring in people of color and have them say all the racial rhetoric about black people so that many whites won't be charged as being racist. If a black person is saying it, you can't say, okay, this person is racist because it's a black person saying it, and that's the hustle. And unfortunately, you have a lot of black folks who are standing in line to get up on the coon train. You understand? Now, again, Larry Elder, he's all hustle. He don't believe nothing he's saying. That guy, Pastor Manning, who's on YouTube doing the Uncle Ruckus routine, he don't believe that stuff he's saying. He's getting a check too. Armstrong Williams, people like that, they're blatantly getting a check. That's their whole job. You know, from day one, it's the coon and just because it's the same old shtick. This new girl, Crystal Wright, she's a new one. The whole bedwench coon thing, it's all shtick. They know exactly why they're cooning and that they're doing it for money. They know this. My problem is this. Now you have people who are not traditional coons starting to buck dance. And some of these people I have respect for, or had respect for, and I still have respect for, but it's starting to wane. Like the brother Deion Sanders. I love Deion Sanders. I've always respected Deion Sanders, but with this whole thing with the football player Riley Cooper, for those who don't know, Riley Cooper, a football player who recently was caught on, he was caught on tape a few months ago, but it was revealed recently that he was at a country and western concert. Some black bodyguards didn't let him backstage, and he was talking about, I will beat every nigger's ass up in here. And he said nigger in the old school Confederate flag sense of the word. All right? He did not say it. He did not say it in a hip-hop slang way. He said it in the old school racial way.
Jim Crow.
And a lot of black people who are sports commentators, they're coming out defending this guy, talking about forgiveness and all this. And my problem is this. A lot of times when other black entertainers or black sports figures, they get in trouble, people like Stephen A. Smith, they get in their case. They get on their case. Stephen A. Smith was throwing Ocho Cinco under the bus. When Chad Ocho Cinco smacked the lawyer on the butt, Stephen A. Smith was on TV. Oh, I'm so disappointed in Chad. Oh, I'm so disappointed. You know, he was doing all that. I'm like, all right, Stephen, we got it. You ain't got to put extras on it. You ain't got to play your banjo real loud. But now with this guy, Riley Cooper, when he said nigger, listen to Stephen A. Smith's interview. This is Stephen A. Smith. Let me play a clip of some of the things he said. This is Stephen A. Smith.
And I do expect that Roger Goodell may suspend him. But let me say a couple of other things, Skip, if you don't mind me adding this. Number one, I accept Riley Cooper's apology. I think that he exhibited a strong level of contrition. He was apologetic. What more can you do from that level? He talked about his parents, how he wasn't raised that way. He talked about how disgusting of a word it was, how embarrassed he was to say, to find himself in this situation. Watching him, I accept his apology on face value. That's number one. Number two, I applaud Michael Vick in saying what he said, because as a leader of the Philadelphia Eagles, as a teammate, and as an individual who has clearly made his own mistakes in his past, he's sensitive to the fact that somebody can really, really screw up and they may need some support. And he also said that he spoke to Riley Cooper man to man about that. I also applaud Jason Avant and what he said, because he talked about how this is not something that can easily be swept under the rug. And he's absolutely right, because Riley Cooper, a lot of his teammates are brothers, and he's going to have to deal with the brothers for a long time to come, because the manner and the ease with which he said what he said and the way it seemed to so easily ooze out of his mouth is something that is going to resonate with dudes in that locker room. Make no mistake about it.
I was with him on this. I'm rolling with him.
Oh, Stephen.
I'm like, okay, I agree with this. I can feel this.
I heard Hugh Douglas allude to that yesterday, and he's absolutely on the money. So I want to sit there and acknowledge Jason Avant and Michael Vick's words. But having said all of that, my focus,
here we go.
Me, Stephen A. Smith, is this. We also have to look within our own community.
Here we go.
The reality of the situation is that, if there's a black person that tells you they never use that word, I'm going to call them a flaming hypocrite. Amongst ourselves, You know, at some point in time or another, we've
Pick on the
used that
banjo.
word. But at the same time, in the world of professional sports, you walk into a clubhouse, Skip, you walk into a locker room, you not only hear the music blaring, but you see the way dudes communicate with one another with such ease.
He's
Here we
playing
go.
the banjo.
Here we go.
Folks standing right around them, including reporters.
He's playing
Yes,
the
the
banjo.
boss. Yes, sir.
Time,
Yes, the boss.
we have to ask ourselves, despite the obvious historical context, despite that being the obvious point,
Oh, master.
is it just as simple as that? As somebody
I love you,
spewing
master.
a racial epithet or using that word?
And that's why Stephen, I like Stephen A. Smith.
Oh,
but then when
Stephen.
he gets to talking about what it's we say it, so we shouldn't expect other people to say it. Y'all, you losing me. You're losing me. Let me play Charles Barkley talking about the Zimmerman case. Because a lot of people were up in arms about Charles Barkley talking about the Zimmerman case, the N-word and all that stuff. This is Charles Barkley's interview, real quickly.
What's on the George Zimmerman verdict?
Well, I agreed with the verdict.
Yeah.
I feel sorry that young kid got killed, but they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Something clearly went wrong that night. Clearly something went wrong, and I feel bad for anybody who loses a kid. But if you looked at the case and you don't make it, there was some racial profiling, no question about it. But something...
Okay, he said there was racial
Ain't
profiling.
no
He
but.
admitted that. Okay.
happened to change the dynamic of that night, and I know, and that's probably not a popular opinion among most people, but just looking at the evidence, I agree with the verdict. I just feel bad because I don't like when race gets out in the media, because I don't think the media has a pure heart, as I call it. There are very few people who have a pure heart when it comes to race. Racism is wrong in any shape, form. There are a lot of black people who are racist too. I think sometimes when people talk...
Here we
Okay,
go.
hold
Here we
on.
go. Here we go.
He said there's a lot of black people who are racist, and that's another thing, man. They keep talking about on television. Nobody's owning up to no racism. Everything is about, well, black people are racist too. What about Chicago? We get into that silly shit. And I always say, where's this black racism? If there's this black racism, where is it? And who's being disenfranchised by it? That's my question to anybody. And y'all have my email. You guys have my Twitter. There's all this so-called black racism going on. Who in the hell is it affecting? It's definitely not affecting white people. This so-called black racism, it's not disenfranchising nobody white or Mexican or Chinese. So where's this black racism we keep hearing about? How black people are the real races? Where the fuck is this black racism? Where is this system of black supremacy? School me. Maybe I'm missing something. But I would like to know, where is this black racism and how does it affect the dominant society? How is this disenfranchising people as far as their education, their school, their politics? How is this so-called black racism affecting any group of people? I would love to hear this. Please, somebody give me an answer on that, because I keep hearing this, blacks are racist, and now you got other black people regurgitating this nonsense. So this is why I say it's kind of buck dancing, because these guys don't really have to. And let me continue. Let me play Deion Sanders, and I love Deion Sanders, man. Had the utmost respect for Deion, but it seems like they gave him the script too. It seems like he just did an interview talking about Riley Cooper and the N-word, and this is Deion.
What bothers me is how we as African Americans can say the N-word to one another.
Here we go.
We can listen to it in almost every rap song.
We don't own no studio.
And even distribute it amongst each other in the locker room.
We don't
on the
distribute
field.
no music.
But it's not okay for another race. So who is...
Okay, so,
Okay. You
Deion.
sound like a fucking slave, dog. I can't.
Somebody, he sound like somebody wrote that.
Oh, Lord.
amongst each other in the locker room on the field, but it's not okay for another race. So who is the racist? I think it belongs to both of us.
Okay, again,
Here we go.
you notice all of these sports dudes, or former sports dudes, they're
fucking coons.
They're being told to say that racism goes both ways. We're all racist. I think they're getting told to say that.
He said something under pressure that really told us what's inside of him.
Wait a minute. Now, Deion Sanders, and I'm trying to rock with Deion,
Under pressure.
but he said that Riley Cooper said something under pressure. That motherfucker
Pressure
wasn't
of
under no
what?
pressure.
He white.
Riley Cooper wasn't under pressure. That motherfucker was real comfortable around all those country and western fans he was in his element, and he got real bold, and the redneck just came on up out of him. He wasn't under no pressure talking about beating every nigger up in here. Was a couple of black folks in there, and they were ready to get their lynch on. That lynch mentality kicked in. So that motherfucker wasn't under no pressure.
Yeah, I'm not under no
I can forgive him for that. But I cannot.
Of course you can, because you're dumb as hell.
You have not said something
And
in
you're
your
probably a
home,
fucking Christian.
in your workplace, at a club party.
Play that banjo,
Hey,
Dion.
blend banjo.
That you don't want to get out.
Play it, Dion.
And you got the audacity to judge this kid. I think he's a kid that made a mistake.
He
Chicken
made a
George.
mistake. Play that banjo, Dion.
Chicken George Sanders.
But when the other race says it,
Big coon smile.
Okay, so again, that's my whole point, man. A lot of
Chicken
these
George
brothers
Sanders
are coming out talking about if other races can say it, we shouldn't get mad. They're being told to say that. They're being told to say that, and they're told basically somebody's pulling them in the room saying, hey, Dion, Charles Barkley, Larry Elder, Stephen A. Smith, have a seat. Hey, I got your contract right here. It's up for renewal, and I got your paycheck over here. Before we renew your contract, what do you think about the N-word? That's how they're stepping to him, man. So a lot of these cats, they're like, well, fuck, man. I might as well get my coon on. And I can understand to a certain degree that you got to do what you got to do to get a check, but do you understand the ramifications of that later on down the line? I would just say, look, if I really didn't believe that stuff, which you can't believe that bullshit you're saying, brothers, I would just say no comment. I would say, hey, man, I would rather not even speak on that. I would just let the situation play out among them. I don't want to speak on that. Just don't let them suck you into the conversation and turn you into a pawn. Because if you notice, no black entertainer has really criticized Riley. Nobody. No black entertainer has really criticized Paula Deen for her use of the N-word. If you look at it, publicly, no black entertainer on television has come out and said, hey, you know, what Paula Deen did was kind of fucked up. The only people you see, or the only people who are allowed to get on television, are the black people who will co-sign that. And that shit is whack. I would just say no comment. Black folks, stop letting people use you as pawns just because they're giving you a check. I mean, damn, I understand it's hard out here and you're glad to get a check, but then have dignity. Think like a player. Don't be a hoe, $1 million hoe. Just say no comment. Because the thing is, man, all of these people who spew racial rhetoric, man, they have all of these forums to spew this nonsense. Like this guy, Ted Nugent, he's going around media outlets and they're letting him get on here and talk crazy about black folks. They let these dudes get on TV and talk dangerously crazy about black people every single day. Fox News, we know what goes on with them. Every single day they're talking greasy about black folks, but now they got this Ted Nugent, and Ted Nugent was on Nick Cannon's podcast, which I have no idea why Nick Cannon would have Ted Nugent on his podcast, because I heard a little bit of the interview, and Nick Cannon didn't check this dude. He didn't refute none of his bullshit. Nick Cannon just kind of let this dude rant on and on fucked up shit about black folks without checking it. So I don't even understand the purpose of putting him on. Why would you put a Ted Nugent on if you're not going to check that shit he's saying? He gets on here. This dude, Ted Nugent, is a bleeding racist.
Long time racist.
A flaming racist. And some people, he's been accused of pedophilia, by the way, too. There's a whole bunch of shit you can do to throw Ted under the bus. You can really get in his ass. But he's one of these people going around talking about black people got low family values, low morals, blacks are criminals, and black people should be profiled. And you don't check this fucking asshole? Black folks, you got to stop being scared. You got to stop being passive. You got to stop sitting around co-signing, giving these people forums just for the sake of getting accepted. That's very dangerous shit a lot of you niggas are doing. I understand y'all need a check, but it's not worth it. And understand these motherfuckers are racist, straight up and down. Just because they're smiling in your face saying that they're not racist. That just like Ted Nugent, he was like, well, I'm not racist. I understand that black people created all types of music, and I understand, and I give praises and props to blacks who created music, so I'm not racist. Just because you acknowledge that black people created country music, western music, and all the music, that don't make you any less racist. All you're doing is just accepting a fact. Just because you're accepting something that's indisputable, that doesn't make you less of a racist.
Right.
Just because you acknowledge the fact that black people created all music in America, that don't make you any less racist. You're just acknowledging a fact. So again, we got to stop playing games with these folks. And again, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. Because look, this whole thing about the N-word, man, people are saying stuff like, well, God, if black people can say it, how come, why do we get in trouble? How come we, you know what, the N-word should just be eradicated altogether. We should put a ban on the N-word. Nobody should say the N-word. That's the whole rap about the N-word. And I've talked about the N-word at length dozens of times. And this whole thing about we should ban the N-word, nobody should say it, that is a crock of shit. People in the dominant society who say that, they're full of shit. You know why they're full of shit? Because they don't want to erase the N-word. Black folks, I want you to listen to me very closely. The people in the dominant society, especially people who are racist, old school white racists, they do not want to get rid of the N-word. Let me say it again. They do not want to get rid of the N-word, period. They don't want to get rid of the N-word at all. All this stuff about, the word should be banned, we should stop saying it, that is a bunch of drag. If every black person stops saying nigga, you think people in the dominant society are going to stop saying nigga? Are you insane? You think they're going to stop? No, they're not. They're not going to stop saying the N-word, and they don't want the word to be banned. You know what people want? They just want black people to be able to get in trouble too if they say it publicly. That's it. They don't want to get rid of the word. They just want black people punished for saying the word publicly too. Do you understand that? Ain't nobody trying to get rid of the N-word, period. That word is too ingrained into our society. That word gives certain people in the dominant society their definition. It defines them. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be superior over this race of people. That's what nigga means.
That's what being white is.
Nigga is the go-to word. Some people, the fact that they think that they're part of a group that is somehow superior to another group, that wakes them up every day. That keeps them going. So they can say, look, I don't have a job, I'm broke, I live in a trailer park, but damn it, I'm still white. I'm not a nigga. Thank God I'm not a nigga. So that myth wakes them up every day. That keeps them going to a certain degree. And I'm not talking about everybody in the dominant society, but certain people in the dominant society, that's how thorough that word is. That word and the ideology behind the word, it trumps money, it trumps everything. For example, in Ohio, there's a small town in Ohio that can receive federal funding for roads and a new bus stop. They can get millions of dollars in federal funding for a new bus stop. But the thing is, they're fighting to prevent this bus stop because it's going to have black riders stop through and shop in a certain area. There's a certain shopping area and a bus stop they want to build in this white suburb. I think it's right outside of Dayton. I want you guys to look this up. There's a suburb right outside of Dayton. They want to build a shopping area and a bus stop so black people coming out of Dayton or from other areas, they can stop here, shop, eat, get back on the bus and go wherever. They don't want them in that town, period. They say, fuck the federal fund. We don't need it. We just don't want them niggas up in here. It's that sundown town mentality. Again, we're going back to the whole Jim Crow thing. So again, the N-word ain't going nowhere. People just want you to get in trouble, black folks, for saying it. Understand that part of the game. Now, let me play the devil's advocate here, because I talked about this on Sunday. We do have a lot of black folks who are cooning and buck dancing, co-signing white supremacy, throwing other black people under the bus, because unfortunately, we don't have an economic base in the black community to sustain black people who defend the black community. And that's a major problem. We got to be able to support and defend people who defend the community. A lot of people see that there is no benefit for defending black folks openly, and I'm talking about immediate benefits. Longevity, as far as longevity, there are benefits, but as far as immediate benefits for speaking up and taking up for the black community, there are no benefits in that because we don't have an economic base, therefore we don't have a power base. So that's why it's very important for us to not only get an economic base, but to get a support system for other black people who stand up for what we need. So we got to start standing up for ourselves. Because some people say to me, "When you ain't Hidden Colors for the money." Nigga, I tell people, ain't no money in black education. You got to make it profitable. I made Hidden Colors a success because of the way it was produced. I put a lot of money into it and just really, really put a lot of energy into it and produced it in a way where you just had to like it and be entertained by it. But it's just, as far as just standing there for black folks, ain't no money in that. Trust me, that's a labor of love. Trust me, you get way more money not standing up for black folks. I promise you that. Ain't no money standing up for black folks. You got to really be passionate about that. That's why you don't see nobody really doing it. Very few of us in the public eye will do that. But other black folks, you notice they have no problem throwing us under the bus, throwing other black folks under the bus because they're trying to get theirs. And to a certain degree, that's our own fault because back in the day, a lot of black entertainers would stand up for the black community because there was a support system. Like people like Muhammad Ali would speak up for the black community because the black community would look out for him. You know, that brother was part of the Nation of Islam, so they would take care of him. That brother, he didn't have to worry about eating, sleeping. He was going to be taken care of by the community. So he could speak up for the community, and that's what made him a hero. Now, we let go of our economic base. So we got to get off that bullshit. And we got to support each other. It's as simple as that. And the thing is, man, a lot of these entertainers now, a lot of the shit they do is passive aggressive because deep down they're like mad at the black community because a lot of these people, they've been in trouble before. Like the Mike Vicks and even Deion Sanders and a lot of these cats, man, they've been in trouble before. And I don't think they felt like they got enough support from the black community. So now when the opportunity presents itself to support the black community or just kind of do a little banjo playing, they're like, well, fuck, the last time I needed the black community, they weren't there for me, so let me go ahead and get that banjo. You understand what I'm saying? That's the mentality they have. And we have to create an environment where they don't have to pluck the goddamn banjo. So think about that, people. We gotta create an alternative for Negro bedwenches, coons, Uncle Toms, and buck dancers. We gotta create an alternative. So whenever we see black people getting attacked by others in the dominant society, we have to support them. But the brothers and sisters who are getting attacked and you are getting support from black folks, you need to look out and acknowledge people who look out for you. Just like with O.J. Simpson. This is why a lot of black folks kind of abandoned O.J. Because when the black community supported Johnny Cochran and O.J. back in the 90s, O.J. didn't go to the Million Man March, and he went right back to the same crowd that he was with who got him in a twist. And they twisted him back up, and then they set him up, and black folks was like, hey, dude, good riddance, dude. We can't rock with you no more. So again, when black folks ride for you, you got to ride for black folks, vice versa. So we can't be on that bullshit, man. We like CMB. We all we got. You understand that? Anyway, y'all, that's been today's episode of the Mac Lessons Radio Show. Go to TariqElite.com, ladies and gentlemen. Go to TariqElite.com. Get all the brand new t-shirts, sunglasses. We got the discount t-shirts. TariqElite.com. Follow me on Twitter at Tariq Nasheed. Follow me on Instagram at Tariq Elite. Ladies and gentlemen, I will holler at you on Ustream. And you can listen to all the shows at MacLessonsRadio.com. For those who don't know, you can listen to all the shows at MacLessonsRadio.com.
Okay, so that was the Tariq Nasheed Mac Lessons Radio episode number 400, New Age Buck Dancing. And as I stated in the previous video I just did this morning, I want to do a video on New Age buck breaking, but I thought that showing something. I actually searched New Age buck breaking and couldn't find anything that Tariq or Jason or a few other people had done, Professor Black Truth had done. So there's documentaries, there's information I showed during the video as I was searching. Again, you can do your own searches on Google if you want, but yeah, I think it would be appropriate to do a video, whether recorded or live, about New Age buck breaking. I would prefer to do it live because then I can get commentary from you all. But yeah, this video will be up in a few minutes. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you wish. I know I had some ad-libbing in there. I didn't mean to have all the noise, background noise, but so please forgive me for that. But yeah, you guys have a good day, and I'll see you soon.